So let's have these guys actually die. In this case I mean the enemy. Let's open up our AI controller, and for this we can just have a health value in here, to be honest. Doesn't need to be too much complicated. Let's start with health 100, and on damage we're just going to be getting down. I think I'm just going to switch the hit timer to 1, and then damage, health, minus 20. Later on we're going to add the health for, based on the weapon we're using and so on and so on. I just want them to just kill this guy so we do not have the same, and we do not have issues with it later. So, and okay, which means now if health is less than or equals to 0, we can just play target animation. Let's say death. And here's the thing, we don't really, of course it's going to be interacting, but we're not really going to be doing much with this anymore. All I'm going to go and say is animator.transform.parent equals null, and just going to say this.enable equals false. Okay, I don't really need this anymore, the AI controller, which also means we actually don't even need the entire object, so we can just say game object set active to false. So it will just play a death animation, and that's all for it. And actually, let's just keep only one enemy. And maybe set his health to 5, so he dies right away. So basically what we're going to be doing is take this, which is the is set, and disable that. Okay, let's go on to our animator and let's see if we have a death animation. We don't, so let's search for one. Yeah, we don't have, we might not have one. Yeah, I think we do not have one. Getting packed up. Yeah, we don't. Well, okay, it doesn't matter even if we don't, because I wanted to add. Actually, let's just use this one because I wanted to add some ragdolls as well, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, it won't transition back to the locomotion. We don't need this anymore. So I'm just going to say death, hit play, lock onto the guy, and yeah, good enough, I'd say. Don't know why he stayed like that though. He should have played the entire animation, but for whatever reason he didn't. He just stayed floating in the air. Okay, let's take a look at his set. The animator is on, so okay, I think it has something to do with the animation and not with this guy. Well, at least hopefully. Anyway, so let's say we want to enable the ragdoll for him. We're going to go on the far east set, and I'm going to go onto my animator hook, and I'm going to let the animator hook have a reference to any ragdolls that you might get. So we need a list, or just, where is it, body actually, ragdoll rigits, and we also need a reference to any colliders a ragdoll might have. Then on start, ragdoll rigids, get components in children, rigid body, ragdoll colliders, get components in children, collider, components. Then for each rigid body in R, in ragdoll rigids, and yeah, okay, we're going to set this as kinematic, and then of course for each ragdoll collider, ragdoll collider, ragdoll colliders, c dot is trigger equals true. Okay, alternatively, we could just do, since there's no really a need to have them stored, to be honest, we're not really using them for anything else. We can also say void ragdoll status bool status and switch this to status. Okay, then on start do ragdoll status false, and which is going to actually is going to be replacing them. So ragdoll status true, yeah, that's a little bit weird. So we're simply going to switch this. So if we are passing false, which means we don't want the ragdoll, then it's going to make it kinematic and it's going to make it a trigger. Otherwise, it's going to do the opposite thing. Then we can add an event, public void, enable ragdoll status true. Minimize that. Let this compile. And we now need to go and set up ragdolls for our enemy, which is kind of a bummer because we don't actually have, as you can see, we do not have the model or the, how will I say, yeah, we do not have the skeleton inside because we have this as an optimized object. So that kind of brings us an issue. But we can just close this farthest set, since this is an enemy, because the player doesn't really use a ragdoll. We can just go, let's see, is this the base model? What is this base model? That's an old one. Let's go to models. Let's find one of these. The animation is, or the rig, create from this, and it's not an optimized game object. Okay, so let's replace this guy. Since this is an enemy, it doesn't really matter. I'm simply going to copy this. Instead of fire set, I'm going to set his own avatar, however. Okay, then I'm going to also allow the animator hook, paste that component, and we also need to replace the sword so it actually has something to hit on top of us. Spine, right hand, and just take the great sword and move it to this hand. Okay, we don't need this anymore. We can delete this. And actually we need to remove Boxman from inside it first, and then we can delete it. Okay, so this guy is now able to be added a ragdoll. So let's go and create it. Let's add the pelvis, left hips, left calf, then left foot, then right hips, right calf, right foot, and of course left up, left forearm, then the other side, right arm, right forearm, middle of the spine, let's just use spine 1, and of course we need the head. Okay, and just create it. The head needs some adjustment, and the pelvis also needs some adjustment. For the center, it needs to be down. Over there. Okay, and of course the head is too big. So let's set this to 1. No. 0.2, 0.1. Lower it a bit and change that to maybe 0.5. 0.5, let's say. Something like that. Okay, of course, maybe you can just bring it forward a bit. Something like that. Okay, doesn't really matter. So, let's unpack this guy though. So, we have our boxman, we have the ragdoll, but we should also assign him onto his own layer. So, we can either do it here, or we can just do it on each of the objects that actually have a rigid body. Okay, in case we want to ignore some of the collisions, because we could just do, if your ragdolls tend to explode, you can go into your project settings, into your physics, and just remove the ragdolls colliding with your own ragdolls, so there won't be any internal collision onto your ragdoll. Okay, almost perfect. This guy does not animate though, or at least most of him does not animate, and we're going to have to check why that is. Humanoid. I think maybe we have an issue with this. With this model. Yeah, we have an issue with this. Let's try and configure this one. Does look correct though. Create for this model. Let me test Boxman avatar. It's kind of weird that this is happening. Huh. Let's see. We don't have it here. Let's raise the preview. Yeah, I think it's the model that has an issue. Yep. I don't know why, but I don't know if I can solve this. Maybe it's not yeah, okay. Maybe it's not wired. Anyway, we're going to have to damn it. Yeah, we're going to have to do this again. So add the boxman split outside, of course. Unpack it. Let's get this, the greatsword. Let's find our spine. Forearm, okay. Greatsword. And you know what? For a ragdoll, I'm not going to, yeah, I'm bored to do it again. So I'm just going to get this. I'm going to add a box collider. Let's see. Yeah, we need to raise this a bit. and I'm just going to add a rigid body for that. This will work as a ragdoll for now, but feel free to reset the ragdoll again. Okay, so we have our boxman split. All we need is our animator hook, and all we need now is the correct animator controller. And now I can select this, go onto my animations, and on the death one, which should be damage 3, let's say that when he is here, play an animation event of enable ragdoll. Yeah, now because we never onto that state, for whatever reason, he stops playing the animation, which I really don't know why. I'm going to set this, I'm going to set the event much sooner then, and maybe just leave it here. Let's see how we are on time. Okay, we have time. Now he should be a ragdoll, but for this to also be a ragdoll, we also need to reset the animator. So animator dot enabled equals the opposite of status. Okay. So actually, let's wait, and I'm going to set up the ragdoll again. Okay, so here we are. Yeah, that null reference is not something that we should worry about, but here it is. So when you kill him, you enable the ragdoll. Of course, once he's dead, we are actually not, we are still locked on, but we can lock on after. So let's fix that as well. And basically we need to be looking if the lock on we have, since we're only looking the target, the transform for him. Let's see, let's go onto our input manager and let's find our lock on, which is here. Find lockable target. Lockable target. Close that. Yeah, we need to basically get a callback or just store which enemy we're actually seeing. So we have two things. We have a transfer that we can get back, but we also need to do a reference value. So now that will not allow us to do a reference value. That should make us. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to the pick definition, and I'm actually going to pass, since I know only an input manager can lock on to me, I'm going to be passing the input manager to this. Okay, because this is an interface, we need to replace the iLockable, which is weird because you have a from transform. Let's switch this to. So, well, hold on. Let's go back to our AI controller. iLockable. We do not implement it. Or what? Get lock on target. Yeah, okay. So from is going to be turned into an input manager. Get a lock on target input manager from. It's going to be returning you that, but we're going to have a public value over here we don't need this to be public. For a public AI controller locked on enemy. Okay, so lock on enemy or from dot lock on enemy equals this. Okay, if I implement the lock on something else, it doesn't matter, then we can just do nothing to that. Then, although I think we still going to need to, or you know what, let's make this agnostic. Let's remove the iLockable. Let's just keep it as we had it, as the from, as the transform, but I'm also going to add a new bool, or a bool is alive, just like that. Then I'm going to have to implement now the new method, but also let's say, actually we can just be checking the health value for that. And let's implement then the quick action, implement the interface, is alive, return health is higher than 0. Then onto your input manager, you can remove this. Oh, we do not store the iLockable on the controller though. But we can actually save it, so it doesn't matter. So this will return us the iLockable instead. So that will be lockable, return lockable, then that will be iLockable, or we can just store the target. Current lockable. Let's go down. Current lockable equals find lockable target. Okay, then if current lockable not equals null, lock target. Let's see. Yeah, there's no lock target anymore. So we can just do transform.lock target equals null. Then lock target equals current lockable dot get lock on target from controller dot m transform. Okay, so only thing left is on current lockable. When we are doing the controller, we just remove the current lockable as well. But if we are indeed in lock mode, and that will be on the lock input, but if we are in this, so controller dot, or just check if current lockable is not null. If current lockable dot is alive, if it's not alive, then we disable lockable. Okay, which means we can also be checking for this one, controller.lock on, which can be faster. Or I guess we could just do this one level below. Well, anyway, it doesn't matter. So current lock target, yeah, let's say disable lock on, void disable lock on. Cut all of that and disable lock on and disable lock on. Okay. So now if we kill the enemy, let's see what we forgot. Lockable hook, yeah, okay. Public Bull is alive. Return true. If you return false, then with this you won't be able to run this. And of course we need to say on the character state manager, we need to implement this as well. So just implement it. We don't really care that much about it because this is a player, so whatever, we're going to fix that later or in the future. What? Yeah, okay, we don't need this anymore. Okay, and get a lock on target. This needs to be transfer. Okay. Oh, we already have this. Yeah, we have this, but it was like that. Okay. Now it should be fine. Clear that. Hit play. So I'm going to lock on. And I'm going to attack. And I've lost the lock on phase. Awesome. So you know what, let's finish this part more precisely because I have too much noise outside and it's getting onto my nerves. So I'm going to stop recording. Anyway, as always, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, and if you like to see more stuff, more videos, more series, more of everything of this, then of course consider supporting me on Patreon so we can keep making all of these nice things we're making. I'll see you next time.